My name is Lee Goldstein. I am the director and the trade room moderator of the newstraders.com, the makers of JOBB software, the one-click range trade. And I want to welcome our member Sean B to the first episode of our new series, Interviews with JOBB Gurus. And the motivation for this idea came about when we received a fantastic email from Sean, which I'd like to read to you. And here's what the email said. It said, "Hi, just wanted to thank you for all of your support. I've completed this Top Step Trader Combine for a funded account by using the one-click range trader and breakout strategy to help me complete it. Thank you so much, Lee and Jay." So I left out one thing, Sean, which we both know, and that is how large of a funded account were you approved for?
Sure, yes. Hi, Lee. And thank you for having me on there. I really
Uh,
appreciate that.
Thank you so
And
much
I'm
for
glad,
coming. I really appreciate it too.
sure. I'm glad, have this opportunity to be able to share with the GLBB community and family and offer some support and some help as the way you have done for me and many others.
Thank you.
Uh, so to answer your question, I've actually got qualified for a 50K account,
Okay.
which is usually the standard account that most people go for initially.
Okay, so that's, in other words, you can, with Top Step, there's different levels, obviously, that you can
Yes,
qualify for. So,
sure.
just out of curiosity, let me start from the beginning. So you're young.
Okay.
I can tell you're young. I'm guessing you're in your late 20s. Am I right, or are you older?
Oh wow, that's that's a compliment. No, actually, it is in a big way. Actually, I'm 47 years old.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And you're a firefighter in New York City. Is that what the deal is?
No, I'm in Westchester County, which is
Oh,
right outside New York City, the county over from the Bronx,
okay.
but it's in the suburbs.
See, I
hmm
didn't realize they had. That's why I was surprised when I spoke to you yesterday. I didn't
hmm
realize they had paid firefighters. I thought they were all volunteer once you got outside of New York City, but that's obviously not the case.
Well, yeah, well, and I can understand that. Well, there are a lot of volunteers. Like I live in Westchester County, right? And within Westchester County, there are four major cities. In the four cities, there actually are paid firefighters.
Okay.
In the towns and villages outside of that, it's a mixed combo department. There's some paid and others are volunteer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really
hmm
interesting. So, that's a very it brings up a very interesting thought to start off with. How much do you think that your ability to deal with pressure as being a firefighter, it's certainly not an easy job at times. There's a lot of pressure in
Right.
people's lives. How much of a bearing on you being successful with your trading do you think that's had on you,
Well, to be
if at
quite
all?
honest, very little because it's a totally different skill set.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're trained to be for as a firefighter. You have a community, where you have other firefighters and people to kind of lean on and help
Right.
give you support. There's a set structure for training to develop you through that process.
Okay.
Initially when you go in the academy and then when you come into the fire service, you have a seniority system where you have guys that are senior and people that are junior and you kind of follow behind them and learn. So it, it, I, while on the surface you may look at it and say, well, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and it can be extremely pressure, a lot of pressure and a lot of risk
Right.
to yourself and to others. But it's kind of a team sport, and as you know, with trading,
Right.
it's really an individual sport. It's like playing football versus golf.
Okay.
You
Good
know,
analogy.
you know,
Good analogy.
yeah. hmm
Okay. So, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why, we started the trade room before your time, we didn't
hmm
have a trade room. So it was a very lonely, job. And now, at least with the trade room, we're trying to make it more of a team sport, which I think is a good thing
I agree,
because
and I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot.
good,
It
because
actually, what it does is actually allows me to feel like I'm on a team as opposed to just trading by myself, which is why I give you and Jay such great accolades for your support.
right. Well, thank you for that. And I understand it,
Sure.
because I was a member just like everybody else. So I was alone. And when they finally when they finally agreed to hire me, that was like the first thing I bugged them to do. Let's get a real trade room going so people don't feel so
Right.
alone and everything.
Sure.
So how many years have you been trading, Sean? And how many years have you been trading and what got you started? How'd you get into it?
Sure. Well, I can go all the way back to, I'd say 2001, 2002,
Okay.
around that time. I started trading. There was a company called Wise Trade,
Okay.
uh, which offered a stock trading program where they use basically moving averages.
Right.
And they sold a package. You know, you saw an infomercial on
I
television,
remember them. Yep.
and sure, you saw it on TV, 30-minute infomercial. Come to this hotel, and
Right.
we'll teach you how to trade. You know, and you
Exactly.
get there, they razzle dazzle you for a little while. Then they hit you with the $5,000 package, and then they cut it
Right.
down to three.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so yeah, that's how I got the taste for trading. And you know, I looked at the idea. Well, you know, listen, the money's out there in the market. All I have to do is figure out how to get it into my account.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so, and it's not going anywhere. And as long as technology improves, it'll improve my chances to trade or have the access to trading anyway, you know?
Okay.
So that's kind of what got me started with stocks initially. And
Hmm.
then they came out with a Forex package that, and then they had the commodities package, which I never bought
Okay.
because I didn't really quite get my mind wrapped around it. But I focused a lot on Forex.
Okay.
So that was about 2002, 2003.
Okay. So you bought the package, and that was actually
Yes,
your first intro to trading for you.
correct.
Okay. And then how did you wind up getting into futures then after doing Forex and stocks for a while?
Sure. Well, so I went through, you know, Forex for quite some time and
Hmm.
ups and downs but, and I still, trade the Forex to this day.
Okay.
But what got me into futures, I would say back in 2015, I would say about 14 or 15,
Hmm.
I was looking on YouTube like a lot of people do, and I ran across this channel. I'm not going to name the channel
Okay.
specifically.
Okay.
But I ran across this channel, and it was a review channel of trading and investing.
Okay.
And one of the systems they had was JOBB.
Oh, you could
And
name
the
the
guy,
channel. I know who it is. I know who it is.
okay, yeah, it was Empire
Empire
Ambition,
Ambition. Yeah. Yeah. I know Larry. Larry's a really good guy.
Larry Lee.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Good person.
So
Yep.
yeah, he is a good
We'll
guy.
give him a
And
plug.
so
We'll
I
give him a
followed,
plug here.
okay. And so I followed him and, you know, went through everything. And actually at the time he had already tested your system,
Right.
but I had gone back and watched videos that he had in the past.
Uh-huh.
And I saw, I think he did an update on JLBB,
Right.
and I saw it and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool and news. And I was really fascinated by it because anyone that knows about trading knows that whenever you're instructed by someone to trade, the one thing they always tell you to do is to not trade news.
Exactly.
Always tell you that. Stay away from news. You
Right.
know, if you are in and the news announcement's about to come out, move up your stops, close out your positions. You're always warned against news.
Right.
So I was really fascinated by the idea that you actually dealt with news head on. I was
Right.
impressed, actually.
Right.
So yeah, so that was how I got introduced to you guys, and then I just went in further. I again watched the videos, and then I found your channel, and then I went deep into your channel all the way back to the first video,
Hmm.
which I saw Jay on the video. I
Right.
saw, huh?
No, I was saying right. Yep. That's
Saw Jay on the video.
yep.
I saw Eric,
Yep.
and I also saw Scott.
Wow. That's really going back. That's right.
Yeah. And they were all sitting down at the table having a meal and talking about things. And I was like, wow, that's Scott from the
Hmm.
who also trades commodities. And that, you know, so I saw there was a relationship there. So, and I also saw Scott's stuff on Larry Lee.
Right.
So, you know, I saw that whole thing. So from there, I just started to follow the news events, you know, as they unfolded and tried to wrap my head around the high-res and,
Right.
you know, and go on and watch you, you know, and listen to you when you, as you traded.
Okay. So I remember you were a member for a while, and
Yes.
then I think you weren't a member, and then you came back. And I find that a lot of people come back
Hmm.
because
Okay.
there's something attractive, there's something addicting about trading the news. But
Right.
I'm assuming, obviously, from your email also that besides just trading the news, you've done some different things because we've updated the software, and you mentioned
Hmm.
the range trade and things like that. So,
Yes.
how did you wind up? And I know you sent me a lot of your testing also and setups and stuff.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
what about that? What about the upgrade that we did to the software worked for you. In other words, how were you able to make that work for you? Because people struggle. They find it hard to put. Most people don't want to put the time in. They want
Yeah.
us to tell them how to do everything, and the people that
Right.
succeed are like you. They put the time in on their own as
Got to
well.
put the time in. Got to put the
So
time in.
yeah, so what about the new updates that we did were helpful to you, I guess?
Well, I would say, one, let me say this just to back up for a moment, and then I'll get to that question. When I did the breakouts, and then when I saw the one click, and I saw initially you were doing it at 9 o'clock, and you were looking at it, and you didn't really do it too much, but I was fascinated by it. It really got my attention.
Hmm.
And that was something I was always trying to figure out how to use. And of course, as time went on, you expanded on it, I think, with Steve and
Right,
Chatal and all of them contributing. It helped you to, kind of opened it up,
right,
Um, but I would say that how it's helped me is that, first of all, in order for it to help me, I have to help myself, right?
hmm,
So, I spent a lot of time watching you guys. I mean, what I would do is I would literally go through those YouTube videos you guys did. Like those links you would send in those sheets
hmm,
that you had, and I would just watch them over and over again, and Chatal and Steve and you, and look at the different strategies you guys would use and the approaches, and craft my own things in some ways, but that didn't always work out. So
right,
I realized, okay, it's better. Let me just kind of copy what you're doing. I feel that a lot of times, I know for myself and other people I know that trade, they tend to get a taste and then want to reinvent the wheel.
right,
That's the thing. They jump out of the window and they want to start reinvent the wheel. And it's difficult to not do that because you just want to put your own, your own taste, you want to add your own 2 cents. You want to feel vested in it in a different kind of way.
hmm,
So it's very natural to want to do that, right? But so the real discipline for me, I think, is to really say, you know what, I'm just going to copy exactly what this guy's doing. And it's usually an unpopular thing to think copying someone else. No, do your own thing, because
hmm,
that's what we encourage
hmm,
you to do. No, I'm just going to copy what they're doing over and over and over again until I feel like I've gotten it down. Then I can deviate.
right,
Before you can do the tricks of the trade, you have to learn the trade.
right,
Right? So that's what I focused on first. Let me just look over this guy's shoulder. He's given me the opportunity to do that. Not too many people do and do it well. So let me look over this guy's shoulder, copy what he's doing in sim over and over and over and over and over again. Go through these videos because they're available to me.
hmm,
Watch the videos, do some replays, do all those little things to help improve my trading. And that's what made the difference for me. I mean, that's how those tools helped me, is that I did the work beforehand and that I just copied and watched and followed and then progressed from there.
okay, that's great. What about how do you personally deal with a bad day? In other words, if you have a bad trade, how do you psychologically handle that? I mean,
I'm pissed.
obviously you must be able to just let it go, I'm assuming.
No, I'm pissed. That's the honest truth. I'm pissed. I am. And I have been. But I've gotten better at learning to let it go. See, where the mistake happens is that you make a mistake and you have a bad trade, and then you do what's called revenge trading.
Absolutely.
When now you're trying to make up for the loss because
Yep.
you feel like you have to win every day.
Yep.
You know, so that was a problem I had. I would lose, and then I would lose, and now I'm trying to, make up for it. So in learning how to accept the losses and understanding that and getting the confidence in knowing that, yeah, I had the loss, but I have the ability to have a win. See, I believe that issue with the loss is because, and you continuing to trade and revenge trade is because of your insecurity in your ability to win.
Right.
So really it's about accepting the fact that I can win that allow me to learn to accept the loss.
Right. Good point.
you
Good
know
point.
so
It took
yeah
me,
so
it took me years as a trader to
Yeah.
be able to walk away from my losses. We've talked about it in the room. There would be times where I wouldn't be able to trade for days. If I
Right.
had an $80 loss, it would bother me so much. But once you learn to let those losses go and just it's just part of everyday trading, it makes it so much easier
And get out
to
of your own
deal with
way.
everything. You bet. So now, how long were you sim trading before you started putting real money on the line?
Not long enough. Right. I'll be honest with you because I've also, let's keep it completely honest here.
Right.
I've blown up accounts. I thought I knew and I understood because I had a little string of wins
Yep.
and I thought I knew what I was doing. And then I would take some real money and put it in there and then I would have a loss. And, I go through my roller coaster, what I just described earlier.
Right.
So I would say what did help me though, what helped me a lot was the Top Step Combine.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that helped me out, to kind of go into that for a moment, the reason why it was so helpful was because now if I had a loss, there was a consequence. I would have to do a reset,
Right.
possibly, if I
And
broke the
and
rule,
pay for it.
and pay for it.
Right.
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 Which is still cheaper than how I was paying for it in my own account.
Right. Right.
Because I may have to pay $100, but sometimes I was paying hundreds of bucks,
Right. Could you
for losses
explain
and
briefly to the audience like what a reset means with Top Step? Some
sure.
people don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Sure. I'll back up for a moment.
Okay.
So what happens in Combine, a Top Step Traders Combine, you have two steps in your first initial step. So with the 50K account, you have the first step, you have to trade for 5 days. Doesn't have to be consecutive, but you have to have 5 trading days posted. And you have to make $3,000 in whatever period of time that you need,
Okay.
okay, to do that. And then they have some rules, which the most common rule that I understand that is broken is a $1,000 loss, even unrealized loss within a day. So if you go below $1,000 in a realized or unrealized loss, which I believe the unrealized, yeah, either one,
Okay.
within a day, you are broken a rule and you have to reset your account. And that means the 5 days starts all over again.
Okay.
Everything starts, the balance, everything is back to normal,
And you
as if
actually
you
have to
started from the
pay
beginning.
for a reset, correct?
And you pay $99 for each reset.
Okay. Okay.
So, so if you make a lot of mistakes, it can really build up.
Right.
So you have that. That's how it's done. That's in the first step. And then also in the first step under the $50,000 account, you cannot lose more than $2,000 within a week.
Okay.
Okay. And then they have what's called a drawdown threshold. So initially when you start, say you start with a 50K account, you cannot go below $48,000 at all.
Okay.
And then as your balance increases, that threshold also ratchets up behind you. Okay, so if I go from $50,000 to $50,500 with a $500 increase, the drawdown will go from 48,000, which is the most that I can lose, to 48,500.
Okay.
And it continues to ratchet up. And then once I hit $52,000, the most I can lose is $50,000, and that's it. It doesn't follow you anymore.
Okay.
It stops at 50. And also the $2,000 minimum loss per week also no longer exists.
Okay.
Because you just can't go below 50,000.
Got it. Okay.
So just to give you some background.
Very good. So now getting back to JOBB for a second, do
Okay.
you still trade the standard news reports as well as using the one-click range trade? And it sounds like originally you got involved in the original range trade, the 9 o'clock oil open, it sounds like.
Well, initially it was the breakouts. And then
Okay, right, the
it's
breakout
evolved,
trade,
yeah.
and then we added the range. But
Right.
so are you currently trading both news reports as well as one click, or what's your favorite setup these days with JOBB?
Honestly, I'm doing the classic breakout on the news trades.
Okay,
I do that a lot. And when I do that the most, I would say.
okay,
The breakouts. Because I did a one click for a while where I was doing my own thing
right,
and and that wasn't working out.
okay,
So I
okay,
said, let me go back to the basics. go back to the breakout, and do that. And I was really, really successful with that in the first step of Top Step. Not to regress, but
Right.
yeah, I was
Right.
really successful. I was really doing well, especially like in May and June. And I mean, I was just racking it up, man. Every trade was just working very well. That's what got me out of the first step pretty quickly.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And do
So
you
yeah,
actually, I find that a lot of people don't read the hires. Do you actually read the hires
no,
and go through
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna bring up a point with that. I have and this is so here's a few points I can make with this. One, I have a buddy of mine who I trade with. You know him, Dave H.
them? Okay.
He comes
Yeah,
on
sure.
as well. He's my trading buddy. Sometimes we're sitting in his house in the room with the monitors on, and we're both signed in,
Oh,
or he
that's
signed
great.
in, or
Okay.
I'm signed in, and we're trading together. So to answer you, there are times where I don't read the bottom. I'll read just what I need to set up the trade,
Okay.
and I'll kind of ignore it.
Okay.
Dave, on the other hand, he's he reads everything, every detail. So he'll read it, and then he'll tell me, it's this or that. It's like, 1301, whatever. And
Right.
really?
Right. Right.
Okay. Or he'll say, that's the average peak, but they recommend like 6 to 10. Oh, really? So he kind of makes me aware of that at times. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, so I do, but because of that, I've started to make sure I read them
Right.
more often.
Okay.
Make sure I
So
go through it.
currently, I guess we could qualify you as a high-red dabbler. And let me just
Yeah.
explain to the audience briefly, because there's probably a lot of people that don't know us as well as you do, that the HIRA is our High Impact Report Alert, and it's a document that we send to all of our members the day before a trade is going to take place, and it has recommended settings for the trade. That's what the HIRA is. Okay, so what would you say is your absolutely favorite? If you could only trade two JOBB reports, what would those? And I know that's a tough one. What would your two favorites be?
Huh.
Or really, that question is, what have you
changes.
been
It
most
changes
successful on? Because
Yeah,
that's
it
what it's all
changes
about.
because I know I've had the 430 trade do very well with the 6B.
Okay.
I've had the 6A do well for me at night, from time to time.
Right.
So
Right.
it changes. That Friday trade. What was that, last Friday or a couple of Fridays ago? The CAD, was that the CAD we traded?
Yes. Yep. The Canada in the
Oh,
morning.
man.
In the morning.
Man, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
did
think
well
that
with
was their bank statement, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, man, that was that was pretty good. But
Well, that's
I don't know if I
good.
can
That's
pinpoint
good.
any particular one.
No, I think that's great. I agree with you that it changes because the markets change. So,
Yes.
a report that might have been awesome, 3 months ago might be slow for a couple of months. And
Exactly.
that's a very important thing that people don't realize that we try to bring to the table is constant testing of the reports so that in the trade room before the trade if something has changed about that report. So that's important.
Right.
I think my favorite two reports, if I had to say, would be probably
Sure.
non-farm because it's
Okay.
been so consistently profitable for so long. And
Yes,
I
it
love
has.
the WASD.
True.
I love that WASD
Oh
grain
yeah.
report. I just love it. Always
Yeah,
did.
I agree with you. I agree with you. The only thing, which we can go back to Top Step for a minute, is that, as you know, there
Yeah.
are limitations on what we can trade. So the WASD is one of them.
Right. Right.
So when I trade that, I have to trade that in my real account,
Right.
as well as the energy and the oil.
I was going to ask you that. So you maintain multiple accounts so you could trade news and also follow your top step rules.
Right. And I don't have a lot of funds, this is for people, regular people who do deal with this. I don't have a lot of funds in my regular account. So because I don't have a lot of funds, I was even more motivated to really, to get through these steps and the top steps so I can get funded.
Right.
So I can start putting more money in my account. So I'm leveraging the top step account so that I can continue to fund my personal account so that I can take advantage of the WASD,
Right.
of
Right.
the oil, of the energy, because and in the first step of the combine, because there's two steps,
Right.
you can trade everything, as you know. So I really, really, really did well with oil and energies in the first step. When I got to the second step, I was limited on what reports that I
I
could
understand.
trade.
Right, right. I think a lot of the Australian reports are allowed,
Oh yes, all of
which
them.
is good. All of them, okay,
I
because
know.
there are a lot of
Yeah,
the
all of them.
Australian reports
That
have been good lately.
4:30,
The British reports are
9:30 p.m.
allowed.
Eastern
Okay,
Standard Time.
okay,
Yeah, all of that stuff is allowed.
okay.
Like the ones we mentioned, only the oil,
Right,
energy, the WASD, and GDP, and a few, and of course non-farm.
right, right.
But it's not as much as you might think, really.
Yeah, because
It's
there's
really
a
not
lot
as
of
much as that.
news.
You have a lot of options because JLBG fortunately provides a lot of news options.
Right, right. And
So
we're
yeah,
always trying to find new stuff. I mean, that's
right,
like what my goal in life is, to find new trades all the time.
right, and of course earnings as well.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited about that.
yeah,
It's coming up next week, so that's looking
yeah,
interesting. Now, how about what would you say? And I'm not asking you how much money you have, but what would you tell somebody starting out would be a good recommended amount of money to start trading JOBB with, to get going, starting out sim first. But what would you, people ask
yes,
us all the time, how much would you fund an account with to start eventually looking to trade real money?
sure. As you said, I'm just going to emphasize it: sim,
Hmm.
as much as you can. Okay, and once you're at a skill level where, and this is how I gauge it, where I kind of have an idea of what Lee is going to risk on his first target, his second target, when you get a sense of what that's going to be, how his setup is going to be before he even does it.
Hmm.
Um, once you're at that point where there's a level of comfort and documentation to support your comfort,
Yep.
then I would say you have to have, I would say $5,000 just to be safe.
Okay. I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Now the higher your skill level, and I mean real skill, like I said, confidence as well as documentation, the higher that level, the less you need, you know? So, and I think that's, and I can't say that's for everyone. Let me just be clear about
Right.
that. I can't say it's for everyone, but that's what I believe. But a safe number would be about $5,000 to start out with,
Okay.
and then you still have to be very conservative.
I agree.
The idea is to keep your powder dry and to live as long as possible.
Right.
And in the life in this world we call trading is funds.
Yep.
It's based on
Yeah.
capital.
I agree.
So you have to keep your powder dry. You have to maintain your capital. You have to maintain your buying power. And in order to do that, you have to protect it first by sim trading. You have to continue to protect it by making sure you have a high skill level. And that could come, again, like I said, through looking over Lee's shoulder and trading as much as possible in sim until you have comfort and until you have the documentation to support that comfort, and then you transition over to a real account.
Right. Good advice. Okay. Now, how about your family? Do they understand what you're doing?
No, no, no. No, she thinks I'm crazy.
I hear that all the time,
She
right?
thinks I'm putting too much time into this.
Uh,
She thinks it's taking too long for the results.
right.
But I'm committed, and I know it's possible. And I know listen, I'm a guy, I'm a firefighter, but I'm not anyone special. I went to school, but I was not an exceptional student and
Hmm.
by any means. And I'm just saying that. I got documentation to back it up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and did I go to college? Yeah, I went for a semester
Hmm.
or two here and there. But again, a lot of it is just, self-taught in certain ways. I mean, of course, I've had help and examples and things that I follow, um, but I'm no one special. Believe me, I'm really not anyone special. And even in ways, in times where I didn't necessarily have the ability or the skills,
Hmm.
I had the will, and
Right.
I just kept pushing, and I
Right.
kept and understanding that this is possible. It can happen,
Yeah.
and I'm very selective about who I share this with because, I learned a long time ago, when it comes to goals, you have go up goals and you have give up goals.
Hmm.
So when it comes to go up goals, you tell very few people about those go up goals.
Hmm.
Only people that really can understand and support you. When it's give up goals, you tell everybody.
Right. Right.
I want to give up smoking. Tell
Right.
everybody.
Right.
because then they'll watch you, and then anytime you get ready to pick up a cigarette, they'll watch you.
Yep.
And then they'll try, hey, I thought you said you was giving up smoking. I thought you said this. I thought you said that.
Right.
So you can tell everybody your give up goals, but your go up goals, you need to share them because it's important, but share it with those people that understand,
Right.
and have the same goals and ideas, which goes back to what I said earlier about the community, right?
Absolutely.
And come back to the community and communicate that message and look for that support, and it'll be there.
Right. That's awesome. So, Sean, truthfully, I think you are a special person, and you're selling
And you
yourself
as well.
short.
Thank you.
You're selling yourself short. But
Uh-huh.
if I'm going to wrap this up, I can't thank you enough for giving me your
Oh,
time.
sure.
If I had to
Sure.
ask you one final question, what would you
Yeah.
say is your absolute most favorite part of being involved with us, with JOBB? What do you like the best out of everything that we offer, and what could we do better? So, two-part question. What do you like the best,
Oh, yeah.
and what
So,
could we do
again,
better?
I hate to sound like a broken record, community
Okay.
support.
Okay.
I think that's the most critical thing in anything you do in life. You need three things, right? You need the right information and education. And I emphasize the right information
Yeah.
and education. A lot out there, but it's not always right.
Yeah.
The second thing you need is a mentorship, the right mentor, someone who knows what they're doing and can give you the proper guidance to reduce your learning curve
Right.
and to help you move along and to hold you accountable. And the last thing, of course, you need, the way we started out is the way we can kind of end, Lee, community.
Right.
You got to have some type of support system in place to get you through.
I agree 100%. Sean, I wish you the best. You know how much I care, and obviously you care
Right.
as much as I do. So
Yes, sir.
thanks a million for your service, all the good things you do in your community, and thanks for being a JOBB member. I can't thank you enough for spending your time with me.
Right. Thank you for what you do, as well as Jay and Eric, and also all the people that contribute in JLBB, Shatal, Steve, and anyone else that I didn't mention. Definitely appreciate it.
All right. Sean, thanks again, and I'll see you in the trade room.
Great. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
You too. Bye.
So long. Bye-bye.
So long.